Have you ever wondered why the price of your morning coffee seems to rise every year? This phenomenon is known as inflation, a key economic concept that affects us all. Inflation measures how the general level of prices for goods and services increases over time, impacting everything from your grocery bill to the value of your savings. In this video, we'll dive into what inflation is, its causes, and its effects on your everyday life. So, let's get started. What is inflation? Inflation refers to the increase in prices of goods and services over time, which means that the value of money decreases. When inflation is present, you need more money to buy the same amount of goods and services as you did before. For example, if last year a loaf of bread cost $2 and this year it costs $2.50, inflation has occurred. While a moderate amount of inflation is generally considered beneficial for economic growth because it encourages spending and investing, high or unpredictable inflation can disrupt economic stability and reduce people's standard of living. Causes of inflation. Number 1. Demand pull inflation. Demand pull inflation occurs when the overall demand for goods and services exceeds the economy's productive capacity. Imagine a scenario where consumers suddenly have more money to spend, perhaps due to tax cuts, government spending, or increased wages. This heightened demand puts pressure on the economy to produce more goods and services. However, if production cannot keep up with this increased demand, prices will rise. This type of inflation is often described as too much money chasing too few goods. For example, during economic booms, consumer confidence and spending increase, which can drive prices higher if businesses cannot expand output quickly enough. Number 2. Cost push inflation. Cost push inflation happens when the costs of production increase, leading businesses to pass on these higher costs to consumers in the form of higher prices. Several factors can contribute to cost push inflation. Supply shocks. Disruptions in the supply of essential resources such as oil can drive up production costs. For instance, if oil prices surge due to geopolitical tensions or natural disasters, the cost of transportation and manufacturing increases. This can lead to higher prices for a wide range of products. Wage increases. When workers demand higher wages, businesses may face increased labor costs. If these businesses cannot absorb the additional costs, they may raise prices to maintain profit margins. This scenario often leads to a wage price spiral, where higher wages lead to higher prices, which in turn lead to demands for even higher wages. Number 3. Monetary inflation. Monetary inflation is driven by an increase in the money supply. According to economist Milton Friedman, inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. When central banks, such as the Federal Reserve, inject more money into the economy, consumers and businesses have more money to spend. If this increase in the money supply outpaces the growth in economic output, it can lead to higher prices. For example, during periods of economic stimulus, when central banks lower interest rates or engage in quantitative easing, the money supply expands, potentially leading to inflation if the increased liquidity does not match the economy's productive capacity. Number 4. Expectations and inflationary spirals. Expectations about future inflation can also contribute to current inflation. If people anticipate that prices will rise in the future, they may adjust their behavior accordingly. For instance, workers might demand higher wages to keep up with expected price increases, while businesses might raise prices preemptively to cover anticipated higher costs. This can create an inflationary spiral where expectations of future inflation drive current price increases, which then lead to even higher inflation. Central banks strive to manage these expectations by maintaining credibility and signaling their commitment to controlling inflation. Number 5. Government policies. Government policies can influence inflation in various ways. Fiscal policies, such as increased government spending or tax cuts, can boost aggregate demand, leading to demand pull inflation if the economy is already operating near full capacity. Additionally, policies affecting regulation and trade, such as tariffs or subsidies, can impact production costs and prices. For example, imposing tariffs on imported goods can increase the cost of those goods and domestic alternatives, contributing to higher consumer prices. Number 6. Global factors. Global events and economic conditions also play a role in domestic inflation. International supply chain disruptions, global commodity price fluctuations, and geopolitical tensions can affect the cost of imports and, subsequently, domestic prices. For instance, if a major supplier country experiences political instability, it can disrupt the supply of essential goods like metals or agricultural products, leading to higher prices worldwide. Inflation arises from a combination of factors, including excessive demand relative to supply, rising production costs, increased money supply, expectations of future price increases, and various government and global influences. Understanding these causes helps in formulating effective policies to manage inflation and mitigate its impact on the economy. Strategies for managing inflation. Managing inflation effectively requires a multifaceted approach involving both personal and organizational strategies. Here are some key strategies to consider. Number 1. Adjusting pricing strategies. Businesses facing inflation should reassess their pricing strategies to maintain profitability without alienating customers. Implementing gradual price increases can help manage customer expectations and avoid sudden shocks. Additionally, offering value-added services or bundling products can help justify price hikes and retain customer loyalty. Transparent communication about the reasons for price changes can also build trust and understanding with consumers. Number 2. Cost management and efficiency. Reducing operational costs is crucial for businesses during inflationary periods. This can involve renegotiating contracts with suppliers, finding more cost-effective materials, or improving operational efficiencies. Investing in technology that streamlines processes and reduces waste can also help lower costs. By improving productivity and cutting unnecessary expenses, businesses can better absorb higher costs and minimize the impact of inflation on their bottom line. Number 3. Diversifying investments. For individuals, diversification is a key strategy to manage inflation risk. Investing in a mix of assets, such as stocks, real estate, and commodities, can help protect against the eroding effects of inflation. Assets like real estate and commodities often appreciate with inflation, providing a hedge against rising prices. Diversifying investments can also reduce overall risk and improve financial stability in uncertain economic conditions. Number 4. Adjusting budgets and saving wisely. In times of high inflation, reviewing and adjusting personal budgets is essential. Prioritize essential expenses and look for ways to cut discretionary spending. Increasing savings and investing in inflation-protected assets, such as Treasury inflation-protected securities, TIPS, can also help preserve purchasing power. Building an emergency fund with sufficient liquidity ensures financial resilience in the face of unexpected price increases. Number 5. Negotiating wages and contracts. Workers can negotiate their wages and contract terms to keep pace with inflation. Regularly reviewing and adjusting salaries to reflect the cost of living ensures that income maintains its purchasing power. Employers can also implement inflation-linked wage adjustments or bonuses to support employee satisfaction and retention during inflationary periods. By employing these strategies, individuals and businesses can better navigate the challenges of inflation, safeguard their financial well-being, and adapt to the evolving economic landscape. Inflation, though challenging, can be managed with strategic adjustments. By adapting pricing, controlling costs, diversifying investments, and adjusting personal finances, both individuals and businesses can better navigate the economic pressures and sustain financial health in changing times. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. Share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time. Goodbye for now.